Yo,
What's up? What's up, Hood Mystic?
nothing much.
So I
Nothing.
got my winter jazz music playing.
Sure thing.
You know what I mean? So shit, you pretty good though. You want to start talking about some of your products and what you want to promote and everything?
Sure, man. Well, I got out two books, and I got my son with me, so hopefully he'd be quiet. But who knows? He always stick to me like glue. Uh, but
Man, I just
yeah. But let's see. I got manipulating the matrix, which is a hold on, before I start, let me get him squared away with his mom so I can kind of focus, okay?
all right. That's cool. Cool.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey,
Jazz
babe. I'm about to take
feels good. Listen to jazz music during the wintertime. Take the stress off. Got to find some stress coping mechanisms. Jazz music in the morning is something that feels good. Actually, all day though, something I can listen to. Relax. Of course, you have to switch it up, bring some hip hop music in, listen to some rap. But I think to calm the soul down, this is what I need. Continue listening. All that jazz.
All right, I'm back.
So you got the breaking. Oh, wait. First book is the natal chart book, right?
True, yep.
That's the book that gets you in tune to your natal charts and how to look at it from a different perspective, and then breaking through the matrix. Though,
Yeah, so manipulating the matrix
yeah,
is like more of an ancient way of telling time and then understanding our unconscious mind. Because when we dream and all of the things that happen, if we're not paying attention, if we're not focusing our intent when we go to sleep.
yeah,
Can you hear me okay?
yeah. I'm pretty good.
Okay. Let me know if you can't hear me. But yeah, so all of these things manipulating the matrix helps assist you into doing, you know? Um, for me, like actually going through it, like an experience is that I keep seeing this car that like it has this Bible verse on the back of the car, Deuteronomy 8:18, and it's not like I see the car in the same place. It's like all throughout the city, and Columbus is pretty big, and it's more aligned with my intentions, and working with them, and then not like staying in a passive set or a passive state. But since I'm writing things down, I have to really follow it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus if it's in my head, And so for me, it's like getting me on my own thing because I sat and I wrote it down. Now, if I write it down and I come back to my journal at the end of the night and I didn't write and I didn't do none of the shit that I said I was gonna do the previous day, I'm gonna feel like a real jackass to myself, right?
Right.
And that's kind of what the book is doing for me personally. And I didn't do it, I didn't write it by myself. I wrote it with, two outstanding individuals, Sheree and Hancho. Um, and they live in with manifestations themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a collective, like wild type of spiritual type of ancient storytelling. I don't even know how to explain it, but the more people understand what we're doing and how we're helping them, the more it's gonna kind of go down in history as like we really figured it out. So it's not a me thing. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely a collective thing. How to read natal charts, that's kind of a me thing, but that's definitely more of a you thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of space for you to write what these things mean to you and create a narrative about your astrological chart that you just not gonna find on the internet, no matter how hard you try, because none of them people lived your life or understands your ebonics or your spiritual understanding of things. The sun means to me something completely different than what it means to you, and that's just the reality, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I shouldn't go to the newspaper and get my astrology quote for the day then, right?
You absolutely should, man, if you resonate with that, because it might be certain things that prompt you that speak to your soul, because this matrix that we live in is based upon what you focused on. So what you focused on, you change it. Have you ever seen like a show where like, or even in a dream where you look at something and it just like change around? Or how many times have you looked and seen something and it said fuck or whatever, do you look again and it says something completely different?
Yeah.
That happens a lot, right? Because that's what that's what it is, but it's just kind of like what brain is going to take over. So with my books, I'm trying to get you to deal with your mental imagery and your mental body, because your mental body creates your reality more or less than you trying to absorb somebody else's understanding of this reality and trying to assimilate that. That's very difficult. And so the purpose of my books is to get you into your own spirituality. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you said Deuteronomy 8:18?
yeah.
Okay, so it says, but remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth. And so, then what part I like, it says it, and so confirm his covenant, which he swore to your ancestors as it is today. So you see how you got, like the ancestors and producing wealth. And I'm thinking that's a big topic though, man,
Yeah, that's some serious shit. That's very serious topic that I can go on and on about.
Because here's the thing though. Like, I mean, we're gonna get to another conversation later.
Sure.
Conversation, but
Sure.
I was watching. I think T-Pain had a TV show on. I think Fire Stick or something. He's talking about he's making food and everything. He was interviewing this lady, and I think in Atlanta somewhere, and she was like, she started this company, and she said that most of the ideas that she had came from her ancestors. And I was, wow. And I remember someone saying that the genius that we have is not necessarily our genius or our ideas, but the more you give your ancestors opportunities to come through for you, the more they will, though,
Yeah, that's probably going to be the overall theme to the entire conversation.
Okay. All right. So the first thing I want to ask, what is trauma? What is trauma?
Okay. So trauma is multi-level and multifaceted and also complex, but very simple when you understand psychology. So on one aspect, you have the individual person. Let's say my name is Jazz. And so Jazz lives his life. His initial point of trauma is emerging from his mother's womb. That's trauma right off the bat, because what was once a union between self and God is now being separated. So now instead of being this autonomous, just chilling out being, you go from a now your name is Jazz. You know what I'm saying? So forth and so on. And life becomes a journey to find or to heal that initial trauma. And so the ignorance of that initial trauma creates additional trauma, so forth and so on. And that's the individual's path to trauma. And within that, we have good lives and then we have bad lives. And so the person who lives a bad life is trying to make a good life. And then the person that lives a good life lives a bad life because he don't appreciate his good life, because the purpose of trauma is to create the transition to become actually good. And so you have that level, but then once you get to a level of healing your trauma that you process, there's also the non-local variable of trauma, things such as 9/11, things as such as like the first 48, Law and Order, SVU, so forth and so on, that creates a collective consciousness, the news, politics, entertainment, Call of Duty, so forth and so on, where this is this residual trauma that exists within the population. That, you know, this world that we live in got some problems or some issues. And some people like, well, not in my neighborhood, but that's just your neighborhood. You would never dare to venture in certain parts of, you know, is whatever city you in, there's parts of that city that you just do not go to, indicating that the world that we live in is not particularly safe, but we live in an illusionary sense that it is safe, but there's a lot of trauma that happens. So,
so one thing you just mentioned, you said trauma based on like as far as like a mass produced trauma. What do you think about Grand Theft Auto?
I mean, all of that is like creating ideas in the person's subconscious that wouldn't normally necessarily be there. So it primes you for certain deviants and certain negative behaviors that might not affect you, right? Because you feel like that's just a video game, but there's billions of people that have low intelligence levels and low IQs that look at these messages as indications to do these types of things. And so where you have it to be like just some, you know, entertainment or video games, you're not really factoring in countless households of children and people that's being raised by TV and things of that nature. So it's like this thing is a really, really big problem when you think about trauma and how it affects us, and how, if not treated or if not solved or not understood, it becomes something that's like ever present on our minds. And so it helps you on the personal level, but then on the collective level. So, you know, we all react to trauma at this point in time. And this is just a whole world problem. Like, it ain't nothing really happening besides it, if you catch my drift.
Yeah. So, why is trauma recovery important, though? I know you mentioned earlier, you said that the God consciousness is established in the womb. Is it not there, like after the person is born, though?
Yeah, it's there, but it's not a thing that is a dominant cultural topic or something that the awareness is like engaging in, like as much as we go to school or as much as we go to the grocery store. The actual topic of God is within you, and this is how you activate them through meditation and utilizing and balancing your chakras. And your chakras relate into what particular glands and things of these natures. So where this God energy is not just, you know, a conversation, it becomes an actual practice and activity, just as regular as going to the grocery store. So trauma recovery is a spiritual practice that's not, you know, mumbo jumbo. It's not spells. It's not wishing on a star. It ain't none of that. It's, step A, get you to step B, so forth and so on.
And so when you're looking at this from a spiritual perspective, do you look at it like as far as I know I heard that the first 7 years is usually within the first chakra, the root chakra.
Right.
So, do you do a lot of healing with that? Is that what you would like recommend? Those just start in the root chakra and try to heal that.
So what happened in the first 7 years is that the child doesn't induce stress, or it's very important to release stress because the root chakra is the coagular body, right? Or the don't quote me, man. The cosmic, but then it's the perineum muscle. You can look up the perineum muscle. And so the perineum muscle responds to stress above all things. It's where your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nerve ends. So it ain't really nothing that you need to do with your child between 0 to 7 because they don't even understand stress. Like my kids be like, you know how your kids is. They 1 minute, and then the next minute they act like, wasn't you just mad 10 minutes ago? Like,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They can't hold on to stress. Now, once you get older, right, now you got to deal with it because all you do is hold on to stress. Like all you do is fixate on negative shit. So from 0 to 7, the best thing to do is give your child a stress-free life. If you're going to put them in school, wait till after they 7 till they able to kind of really deal with it. If you put them in school too early or try to get them structured or trying to prepare them for life and all of that, you are putting more stress on them than they actually need. And the stress-free life allows for the hormones to regulate and process and vibrate through the body at a normal rate. When you start stressing and trauma and putting them through shit, then you lock that part down, and now you got to deal with it once they get older, because how what happens is they really shut down. Adolescents shut the fuck down, and it ain't really nothing you can say, nothing you can do, because you put too much stress on them when they were younger.
Okay, and so I got two things to talk about. One is that let's say Rosie mother didn't want her as a child, and so got shipped to another family. That she can't process that trauma. That she's not with her family or with her mother, but it's still present, though, right?
Not necessarily. It depends on if, like, you can't look at an adult right now and be like, I could tell you was adopted. Like, you could never ever do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a thing that you're able to do. You'll be surprised when a person tells you that they adopted. The most important thing is if they're telling her, your mama left you. Your mama ain't care about you. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
There are a lot of different situations that happen and occur in our lives that nobody can take the way that we feel about our parents. Like, our parents could be crack addicts, never been there. And if ain't nobody tell you that your daddy wasn't shit, you would never adopt that ideology on your own. Like, never in a million years.
Okay. So when you think about the recovery steps, so I know the one movie that was recommended was The Butterfly Effect, though. How I guess is meditation something that you can use to go back and to heal some traumatic experiences from the earlier points in your life, though?
You got to be hardcore with it, though. But meditation is cool, but then you got to kind of do the science on radical forgiveness and really putting your mind in a space of an actual event and the actual feelings that you have towards that event, and then actually change that shit in an emotional, mental, vibratory, matter of fact state. It did not happen like that. It happened like this. And this is a worldwide meditation, man. And the reason why I say this is a worldwide meditation, because think about when you grew up and your understanding of what it meant to be black versus your understanding of what it means to be black today.
Right. Two totally different understanding. You know what I mean? Shit, somebody told you could be president, 15 years ago. You like, man, you know what I mean?
It was impossible. It wasn't even nothing that could ever you couldn't even fathom it. You couldn't fathom it. You would not even think that shit. That you would not, because it was so conditioned in our minds that life was just this way. And once we got into this science, when we started listening to Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic and niggas started meditating, then shit just started opening up for us, okay? So this is not something that is slow to come by. This is a progressive thing that's only getting more scarier and more worse for the opposition, and more golden and more beautiful for the actual people that's into this understanding.
And so, with that being said, with the next transition in life, though, looking at 2020 and of course, just seeing what's coming up in the next decade. So as we progress spiritually, releasing trauma is probably one of the most important things that that's there, right? You would say?
I mean, releasing is like, say for instance, somebody starts screaming next door, like just a loud ass scream. You know what I'm saying? That shit gonna ring in your ears whether you like it or not, and it probably ain't have shit to do with you. But that scream, of what somebody else experienced, you can't really stop that. But what you can begin to do is begin to process it and then deal with your divinity. And divinity represents two parts. It represents omniscient. And so our omniscience comes through our dreams. It actually comes through our trauma. Because our trauma isn't always perceived to be happening to us. It's happening for us. And so what happens when we overcome trauma, when we deal with these specific things of our lives and we, wake up one day like, oh my God, Jazz, I'm healed. I can't believe it. I'm healed. Mm-hmm. Guess what happens? You start to see everybody and their mamas go through the same shit that you just overcame. Okay? So releasing it, being A-okay, that's just one level. It might be the first step. But imagine 1,000 and million more steps of helping everybody else walk through those same steps or get to that first step. And so, this conversation that we have, it ain't like a conversation that you hear all the time. And what I'm referencing is that it's a long way to go to make this thing be normalized and, let healing be practical and real and something that everybody could deal with, or understanding the chakras in your children, right? In the phases of their lives and utilizing it and incorporating it, as opposed to just, well, my mama did it like this. Right. And because that's a long way to go. And so just, with my family and in my conversation and my platform, it's something for me to kind of write to and talk about, and know that, it ain't never about releasing. It's always about processing and then, helping other people get to a level where they can get some peace and then be like, okay, you got peace? Yeah. All right, who you gonna help now? That's my shit.
Okay. Because see, I understand that you have a great balance that you're working with, though. It's not just come to consciousness and then hide in the closet. You know what I mean?
Nah. It's all about, you know, not isolating myself or not feeling what it feels to be in relationships and whatever, however life presents itself, acceptance and all of these different things, and then just opening my eyes to other people, opening my eyes to myself, and realizing that sometimes people gonna release their trauma on me, and I gotta realize that that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Versus taking it personally. And then sometimes, when people release their trauma on you, they actually feel better. So you actually doing the healing by pissing people off, and so it's just a lot of different things you can take to it, but every day becomes a constant source of healing of myself. And then, not trying to be like this person that don't deal with people or this person that you can't talk to, because my reality is that I like, people. I like to go back and forth. I like to hear, I just like to, converse and things of that nature. So that's more or less what my channel and my platform has been all about. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, let's talk, let's build, let's do things together, you know what I'm saying? Or, let's shoot the shit, or, whatever the case may be. That's kind of where I'm at in my journey.
Yeah, that's great, though. It's great to be able to understand that, though, to see something real as opposed to an image of something. And, you know what I mean? Just being able to make physical contact with people, though. You know what I mean? That's one thing I learned this year, was being able to, like, step outside of my own comfort zone. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I know beginning of the year, we started off talking about like
Kevin Hart is opening up about his recovery 3 months after his very terrifying September car crash. On Wednesday's episode of the Ellen DeGeneres Show,
Indeed, man. And it's kind of a divine, perfect type of healing that, not dealing with it, you don't even get to experience.
Yeah. So it's just like looking at the two, like, the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And so when it comes to healing, when you look at trauma, do you see either one coming to the forefront, and which goddess would you consider work with when it's time to look at trauma and heal?
Sure. So as far as anything in life, you deal with the restorative, regenerative processes of the feminine body. It's no scar that goes unhealed, and things of that nature. Pain resolves itself. Pain don't usually last forever. We're able to illuminate ourselves. And so when dealing with the goddesses, you're actually dealing with healing. And it's a passive type of healing. And it's different from the masculine energy, So for me, when it comes to healing, specifically to healing, you know what I'm saying? Nothing else. If it's talking about healing, I'm going to shut down my masculine energy and I'm going to raise my feminine energy. The lights is low. It's nothing light or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm in darkness. I'm either asleep or I'm meditating or I'm just in my feminine energy. And so feminine energy ain't to me like putting on lipstick and, womanly. Feminine to me is the darkness. You know what I'm saying? And the void, or that inescapable black, that dark matter. And so for me, the best deity is Kalima.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Kalima is when you stay in the darkness long enough, and that first vision and that first light and that first flame that rises, and that purifier, that destroyer, that's the energy to really deal with for me as far as feminine energy. I came in the door, banging Kalima, ever since I heard Panic say Tupac and Thug Life was connected to the Thuggies, and search on that, and I'm like, okay, all right. So I was just down with that energy, you know what I'm saying? And through all of it, all of my illusions have kind of been wiped away. So a lot of our sadness and a lot of our trauma is illusionary, right? And what do I mean when I say that? You feel a certain way about your trauma. And the way that you feel is a fixed program that you program yourself to feel. So you could feel a different way about your trauma if you just altered and changed the way that you felt about it. And how you feel about what I'm just saying, it don't remove the point. So our feelings are not set in stone like we think they are. Our feelings are highly alterable. And so this relates to the astral body and the astral world, and us believing in our mental images and then looking at the physical world like it don't match up, so I'm going to feel a certain type of way. But we can look at the physical world completely objectively, completely non-feeling and unattached, and move forward. And so it ain't about being not having feelings, but utilizing our feelings in a smart way. And another way that we deal with this, another concept we've been dealing with throughout the years, is emotional intelligence.
Wow, I just thought about that last night though, like being able to control my emotions and don't let my emotions control me.
It's a sweet science though to it, because you can't control it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You have to be smart about it and understand how your emotions work. And once you say for instance you in a feeling, like, as opposed to thinking about it, like, you can think about yourself as like, yeah, I remember that one time I was mad. But then, like, when you actually mad, you can't think like that no more. Like, because right now, you'd be like, all right, if I'm mad, I'm going to take 10 deep breaths, spin around 3 times, drink a glass of water, and I'm going to be cool. Right. Yeah. When you actually mad, all of that shit is thrown out the window. So what's basically is being said is that whenever we do have an emotion, we do have a superpower or a God force to observe it. And the more that we observe that emotion, the more that emotion can exist. You can't observe an emotion, observe it without being in it. You know what I'm saying? And it can't survive. You know what I'm saying? It has to die, because that observation is your literal God self being activated within the moment. And so whatever you observe in this physical plane doesn't have to be felt. It could be observed. And from that observation, you're dealing with your omniscient force, and you begin to, stay in that space. And that's actually meditation when you really think about it.
Okay, I get what you're saying now. So you just like a director watching a play.
Facts.
Watching
cut.
Yeah. It's like, okay, and then all right, stop right there. You're here. But did you question it though? Okay, look, because this is what happened. Okay, when I was like maybe 12 years old, I was driving my brother somewhere, right, and he slid on the street and ran into a tree. And so it was like, the main thing is don't panic. I mean, that's kind of like a traumatic experience, though, right? So how do you go back and take steps to recover that situation, though?
But see, this is what stress and our adrenaline is for, right? We don't know how we gonna respond or react to particular stress things, but we have a whole system. We have a whole reptilian brain, flight or flight response system that helps in those split second moments. So, that's what came on to him. And then, was he ever in the military or something like that?
Yeah, he was there for like a year or so.
Fact. So that was because he was trained in those particular situations and was able to hand you that knowledge. So we could train ourselves to react in stressful situations and simulate particular events. The thing is, our normal everyday life is not a fight or flight situation. But if dealing with the astral body in a misinformed way, we in that fight or flight situations based on the way we've programmed our feelings.
Okay. And so the first step to recovery would be what in your mind?
Observe your feelings and journal your feelings. Observe your feelings. Observe them. Like it. So to explain, our perception is fixable. It's not finite. We might feel like we need to be and do and say and like all of this shit that's just pent up and held up within our subconscious and spiritual being does not need to be there. So the idea is to really just observe shit. Because if I need to be and I gotta be a good dad and I gotta be at work and I gotta da-da-da-da-da, where's your meditation at? Where's your journaling? Where's your, relaxation time and, feminine energy activities? Because all of the shit that we gotta do is left brain dominant. So being creative, working on music, writing, journaling, dancing, dreaming, having sex, things that we deem as fun and stress-free, getting us out of that fight or flight response system is the first step to recovery, because our problem is that we are dealing with different forms of PTSD.
Okay. And
so if we have a problem, right? If we don't got no problem, then the conversation ain't for you. But if you feel like, damn, I got a problem right now, it's a result of a traumatic event. And how you respond to that traumatic event is, recovery.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So looking at, this is the last one I got to talk to you about. So looking ahead, I see a lot of quotes and posts and everything about getting to the bag, right? But we can't get there with trauma. Or you can get there with trauma, but then what's happening when you get the bag, you got trauma, and then you got everything, and you still miserable, though.
And so it gotta be, what do money give you, right? Because the bag within itself, I'll give you an analogy, and then you tell me how you will respond to it. You want $1 million, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you $1 million, and I'll lock you in a room with no cell phone and no internet access, and I'll just give you $1 million and lock you in a room forever. How much is that $1 million worth?
Nothing.
So obviously the bag is a symbol for what you want, not the bag within itself. So why would you focus on the bag and not focus in on what you want? The type of things that I used to dream about when I was in prison was like, I used to dream about laying next to my wife and like feeling on her butt and like, you know, rubbing on her and kissing on her and stuff, and how she would respond to me and stuff. And I was in prison, like just by my damn self. Like, you know, and I would just every fucking night, man, I would just be like, man, I just want to just have a nice, I want her to smell like chocolate too. You know what I'm saying? And I would just be just in my mind thinking about my wife. So when I'm laying with my wife or chilling with my children who represent like the love that I have for my wife, a lot of people want a lot of shit, man, but I be just so happy with my family. You know what I'm saying? And grateful that they healthy, grateful that I'm able to kind of like take care of them in the present, because part of my struggle and shit where I wanted a lot of shit, but damn, if I just had my dad, maybe I wouldn't even have wanted a lot of shit. So, you know, I mean, I kind of dismiss it whenever I hear people talk about money, because money, I ask anybody that question, and not one person would think that would be a good idea. Okay? So until a person can figure out, oh no, because the dollar bills is actual energy and I can eat them and become big and burst out, like, no, like it's pointless. You know what I'm saying? It's worthless. And until you deal with your feelings towards money, then you recreate in that trauma because, all right, here goes some money, Jazz. How you feel? I'm happy. Okay. Start spending it. How you feel? I'm sad. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Right. Some more money. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Here we go again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's trauma to me. You know what I'm saying? I focus on my work, man. I focus on my work. And so, like, I don't know, man. I just work hard and I do multiple different things. I make sure my family's straight. My family be straight. We be eating. You know what I'm saying? We have little bonfires and shit. I used to dream about this shit. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? And I was like homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to have a little bonfire and grill some goat on the grill. You know what I'm saying? And just eat a nice meal with some asparagus, and I'm eating a goddamn Taco Bell 99-cent taco. Like, you know, I'd be grateful for shit. So the bag to me is pointless, bro.
Man, because see, here's the thing though. You just said that you were in a situation where you had to see a brighter light or a better day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so that brighter day and better situation brought you groundedness, though.
No doubt.
That's a different situation, and that's something about though when in regards to.
But everybody got them situations at this point in time. We all got our struggles that we done overcame. We could look back on like, damn, I remember when I was, and that's an opportunity to be grateful. I don't care who you is. Everybody, even if it's tying your shoes. I tell my 6-year-old, remember when you couldn't tie your shoes? Yeah. Ain't you happy you can tie your shoes now? Yeah. All right. Remember when you was riding training wheels? Yeah. Now ain't you happy you riding on 2 wheels now? Yeah. Nigga, be grateful. Like, I don't like we all, my 6-year-old can be grateful. Like, that nigga can be grateful. So it's just kind of reminding yourself and, you know, waking up, writing down 5 things you grateful for. And not only writing it down, is if it got to do with a person, tell that person that you grateful for them. Another thing, man, you know what? I'm going to say one thing, bro, because I don't know if we on time or whatever, but so it's like a opioid epidemic, right? Everybody is like on these opioids and shit. But do you know that you create opioids with your conversation? What do I mean? You ever been having a good ass conversation, bro, and you like with a lady, You know what I'm saying? And she like, oh, Jazz, you so funny. Oh, Jazz, you so...
Yeah.
Feel?
So it feel good, you know?
You feel good because opioids is releasing. So you know what's happening with these kids? You know what's happening with these people? They not feeling, they not having that. Come on, man. I don't care where you at. When you outside, how many people was like, hi, how you doing? It's just, ho hum hum, off to work we go type shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Remember, like at a particular time, that's all we used to do is have them good conversations and shit, though. And then, I don't know, just, 9/11 happened. And that kind of resorts back to mass trauma and how it utilizes us and kind of locks us down. Now we don't even trust each other.
Yeah, everybody's suspicious of each other. And then, so.
Yeah, it's a vicious little cycle they got going on.
So the first step, the main step to recovery is to observe the feelings and journal. Those are the two things that we can do.
Yeah, you can do that right now and utilize your God force. The moment you observe your feelings, the moment you enact in a God force, because who's observing the feelings? If your feelings was that powerful, then you wouldn't be able to observe them. If your feelings were actually you, then you wouldn't have the ability to observe them.
So your feelings.
Some people can't though. Some people can't. Some people just like no. People that's just constantly like, why don't you let that go? No. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I can observe my shit. So
radical forgiveness, observe feelings, and then journal.
Facts.
Man, this has been great though, man. So
have conversations with people, talk to people, so you don't feel shitty.
Especially this time of year.
Especially this time of year. That's why you feel so happy when you with family and shit. Because you don't have that. And don't it feel so good once you got the uncles and the aunts and the cousins all back together and they just talking their shit and you like, that's the opioids releasing, man. We got all of this shit within us. But yet and still we think, we got to get these drugs and shit. We just start, doing this basic shit. We'll regulate our own hormonals and, we'll be tripping out at this point in time if we knew our inner workings and stop relying on external sources.
Yeah. So just be in conversation with people and everything. And a lot of times if it's not family, then you can make somebody, you can make a family though. You know what I mean?
Get online, man. Start talking to people. Hop on people's live videos and start chatting it up. And, we done had whole conversations of like, start a Google Hangout. You know what I'm saying? Man, if you want to, like, you would have a concept like, I don't talk to nobody. Do you want to talk to people? Yeah. All right, make that shit happen. It might not happen for you, but, speak your truth, figure out what your truth is, and, start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, and speak, talk. Reach out to people. Stop being afraid, because what happens when you talking and you on these platforms and things of that nature, whether nobody hearing you or not, at least you getting your opioid release for the day. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't got to do drugs and things of that nature. You got the drugs within you.
Yeah. Connecting with like-minded people. I think that's important though,
It is.
That's what someone was saying that, I don't know if it's, I saw it somewhere. It's like, by this time, like probably like in April next year sometime, you're going to see your family and you're going to see who you can resonate with. And not, it's more based on like-minded people though. Everybody flowing in the same direction and it's not a competition,
Yeah, it's creative. It's just kind of like, once you get to the understanding that you can't really do any and everything that you want to do by yourself, and that things is much easier accomplished as a collective, the most important thing is making sure that everybody is on the same page and on the same wavelength. Then there is no limit to where you can go. You know, a group of people can create a product, a service, a good, you know, distribute it to the market and become millionaires overnight, you know, if they come up with the right product. And what happens is I got my God force, you got your God force, Honcho got his God force, Shireen got her God force, you know, whoever else, Sapphire got her God force. You know, you put all of them things together, them things connect like Voltron, you know what I'm saying? Or like the Power Rangers, you feel me? It becomes a completely different organism. And this is where we need to get back to if we ever going to think about ever uplifting ourselves, is coming together, putting our egos to the side and creating something new and making money. You feel me? Period. I mean, we can get so rich by working with each other, but if we stay in our own bubble, reacting to our own trauma, suspicious of everybody, we ain't doing nothing but hurting ourselves, right?
Exactly. You thought that we said that, and the picture came to my mind. It wasn't the Transformers because Optimus Prime is already himself already. You know what I mean? But it was one of them other cartoons where there were like 4 different people, and somebody had to be like the arms, somebody had to be the legs, and
the Power Rangers.
The Power Rangers, and damn, yeah. That's good. That's a good analogy of where we at in the whole, you know. So, man, I appreciate this though, man. It's been great though, man. I got a bunch of information though, man. So
it was good. Yeah, man. If you need anything, Jazz, just let me know.
Yep. So I'll be in touch with you, so man. I really appreciate this though, you know.
No problem. Shoot me the link when it's done so I can kind of download it or whatever, so I can put it up on my page today too.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do that.
All right, thank you.
All right, good talk to you, man.
For sure. Peace.
All right, peace.